Hey everybody, Chuck Barone here. Friday, October the 28th, 2022. Happy Nevada Day. Nevada was admitted on Halloween, actually the 31st, but they're going to celebrate it today so everybody can do their trick-or-treating and happy Halloween on Monday. As always, thanks for your participation, for your support for the channel, watching the videos, your likes and questions, and all the stuff you guys do every day. We appreciate your support. Markets today, to wrap this week up, it wouldn't be fitting if we didn't wrap the week up with crazy, because it's just a crazy world we're living in these days, man. It really is. So stocks today rally like crazy. Even the NASDAQ rallies, which has been getting nothing but bad news, horrible earnings coming in for all these tech companies. But Apple comes out today and apparently saves the day for the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ gains, S&P up, Dow has a really good day. Dow up 800 and change, almost 1,000-point gain today. And then what it is, it goes back to the same old, guys. Fed pivot. Fed, Bank of Canada came out, they only raised a half as opposed to 3/4. Uh-oh, everybody's reading the tea leaves here. Somebody makes a comment, Fed President Daly says, well, maybe it's time for us to consider talking about slowing down these increases. Now everybody's going crazy. Like this is the end of it. Well, I got a news flash, guys, it isn't. So this rally here, as nice as it is for today, probably going to be a short-lived one. The bond market down today, rates coming back up where they should be. 10-year up 7 basis points today to 4.01, back above 4%. The 2-year 4.41%, up 9 basis points. These rates, as we've said 100 times on the show, guys, you want to beat inflation? You have to get the interest rate higher than the rate of inflation, right? Well, we have a 3.35% Fed funds rate. We got a CPI above 8%, and we got a PCE number today we're going to talk about. Both of these numbers significantly higher than this 3.35 rat now. They'll say 3.25 to 3.5, but it's 3.35. And guess what? These rates, where they are right now, as terrible as they are for the economy, especially real estate, they're going to keep going up, man. They're going to keep going up. The dollar today, basically a flat day on the index, 110.66. Dollar still champ. I don't really see right now any currency out there that's going to compete with the dollar. The Fed's ahead of the curve raising rates. A lot of people are starting to scream about it because it's, this strong dollar creates all kind of issues. People buying commodities have to change their currencies into dollars. Trade is a big thing with currencies back and forth. Strong dollar hurting other economies and really not doing, it's helping us here because imports would be more expensive if the dollar wasn't as strong as it is. But hey, the dollar right now champion, but that's the relative strength. The absolute strength, what you get with your dollar here in America, well, the dollar is not what it once was, is it, guys? With the dollar basically flat, I thought metals would be having a pretty good day today. They didn't. Market's down. Gold sitting at $1,645 and change per ounce, down $18.80. Silver, $19.33 per ounce, down 36 cents. I think that the metals are holding up nicely. I was disappointed today, but overall, happy with where these numbers are in the face of this dollar. Let's see how things look next week, because there's all kind of data coming, man. We got the Fed meeting next week, of course. Oil today down. West Texas Intermediate, $88.10 per barrel, down 1%. Natural gas, the craziest of all markets, $5.78, down 1.6% today. So natural gas is the puzzler to me. It's like has a giant rally and then the next couple of days gives it all back. It seems like the trend on natural gas is down, and I hope it works out that way, which would give some relief to people who are going to be heating their homes in the face of not real shortages, but forced shortages because of disruptions and, political crap. Bitcoin down today, basically flat, down fractionally, 20,599. The disappointment with Bitcoin is it's been basically trading with the stock market. So typically when the stock market has a good day, Bitcoin does too. When the stock market has a bad day, Bitcoin usually does too. So with the markets really rallying like they did today, it was disappointing a little bit, to me at least, to see Bitcoin kind of languishing there. In news you guys need to hear. Okay, we had some data come out today that's important stuff, guys. The PCE, the Purchasing Consumer Expenditures Index, that this is what the Federal Reserve uses to weigh inflation. They don't use CPI, even though that's the one almost all of us, regular people, use. Not many people are familiar with this PCE, Personal Consumption Expenditures. But this index shows inflation is still strong. Very disappointing report today, although they're touting it as a success because inflation isn't going up wildly, but it's showing a 6.2% inflation rate. That's September. Same as August, so inflation isn't really coming down. It's just not going up for the past couple of months. The core inflation number did rise, however, up 5.1% from 4.9 in August. So the core numbers, which are in the Fed's mind, even the more important of the inflation numbers, still rising. Steady increases in inflation. Inflation rates steady, but not rising like crazy. Still way too high, guys. This 6.2% they're showing here. I think that inflation is probably a little higher than that. But on the other hand, off of this report, we also got the consumer spending report. Consumers still spending money like crazy, rising 0.6% in September. August was revised up to the same 0.6%. This would be a yearly increase of about 7.5% on spending. That's a pretty decent number. It shows consumers have some confidence. They're not going, all the money's not going under the mattress right now. And these numbers, the two of these reports combined, along with the employment numbers we got yesterday or the day before, in my mind, are going to encourage the Federal Reserve to stay on this aggressive rate hike thing they're doing. I think we're going to see this it's pretty sure. I think that's pretty much baked into the cake, this 3/4 coming up in November. There'll be two CPI reports before the next Fed meeting. Let's see how those reports come out. I think, the Fed's going to want, even though they're trying to put a brave face on all of this, I think that they really would hope that the economy would stay at least something they could point to show the economy is still going okay, even though for a lot of people it really isn't. But it seems like for a lot of people it really is. I always I live in Vegas, I judge by Vegas. So check these stats out, guys. Vegas just reported this month, for the 19th consecutive month, Nevada gaming won more than $1 billion last month. 19 consecutive months. So if consumers can come to Vegas, and this is not an inexpensive vacation anymore, they were showing room rates averaging $197 per night on the Strip, sometimes even higher, but yet Strip's packed, airport's getting more traffic than it ever has, $1 billion per month in winnings. That doesn't say big recession to me. Now, it could be some kind of weird anomaly, but if people can afford to lose $1 billion in Nevada per month, well, I think all of this stuff put together tells me that while some of us are struggling and having some difficulty, a lot of people are not. And that, like I say, I think this is going to encourage the Fed to continue their aggressive rate increases, at least until something breaks and they're forced to change. Also, an interesting note today, the equity funds, mutual funds, had their best cash inflow in months, with $7.9 billion being put back in to equity funds. Well, that's a pretty good month for these equity guys. So it looks like consumers or investors, regular people who buy mutual funds, are having a little bit more confidence in this stock market. I think that, with all of this murkiness about what the Fed's going to do, a lot of people ran out of the market. Maybe they saved themselves a few bucks. In most cases, they don't. Trying to time the market is a sucker's game. But money coming back into the stock market from the Schmuckatellis. To finish up, a couple of interesting things I thought you guys might or might not have heard about. First thing is, the Monday is the deadline to buy the I bond with the 9.62 interest rate. So everybody, of course, we're Americans, so we're not going to do it in a timely fashion. We're all going to wait till the last minute. And the Treasury Direct web portal actually crashed on demand for these I bonds. So people have money to buy bonds with. The Treasury is probably pretty happy, although they're probably not real happy about paying out 9.62%. So interesting. The government, you would think, these guys can create missiles and weapons and destroy everything, and they can't create a website that can handle traffic from investors. Okay, guys, we might need to redirect some of our priorities here, right? Another interesting thing I was reading today, and not even in the business section, I've been complaining every day about how terrible all the news is and everything's so down and negative and blah, blah, blah. Well, I thought this was interesting. The Philadelphia Phillies are in the World Series. And the Phillies have won 3 World Series in their history. One when they were still the Athletics, back in the day, way back in the day. And 2 as the Phillies. Now, the interesting thing about this, I know you're not all sports fans here, the years that they've won the World Series have been horrible, horrible, horrible years for the U.S. economically. Listen to the 3 years they won. First ever, Philadelphia Athletics, 1929. So they won the World Series literally right before the crash and the Great Depression. They didn't win another World Series until 1980. Now they're the Philadelphia Phillies, right? And you all remember, some of you will remember 1980, I do. That was the year of the Iran hostage crisis, horrible gas prices, massive inflation, the beginning of the Reagan Revolution, Paul Volcker, horrible economic times here in the United States. And their most recent World Series win, 2008, right before, or right after actually, I guess, the Lehman Brothers collapse and at the very beginning of the Great Recession, 2008, 2009. I don't know I'm not a big Astro fan. I'm a Yankee guy. I'm not a big Phillies fan, but I thought that was interesting. I still would like to see the Phillies win it, for the fans in Philly. But if it's going to cost us something the equivalent of 2980 or 2008, well, maybe I'm going to root for the Astros a little bit, right? Anyway, guys, that's all we have for the day. Go forth and have an awesome weekend. Put your troubles aside. Spend some time with the people you care about, your family, your friends. Do something fun and relax. And one last thing before we go. This Emanon thing that Greg's starting, this movement he's trying to start, I want to support that. And it's a pretty simple concept. Be good to people. Do good deeds. Do something nice for someone today. Even if it's your wife, stop by on the way home and buy flowers. Get a card. Just tell her you love her and give her a hug. Your family, your kids, your neighbors, your friends, do something nice for somebody. Not just today, but every day. And what we're trying to do is get this out there, create a little bit of a movement where people, because not only are you going to feel good doing something for someone else, you're going to feel good for yourself knowing that, you're doing something good for someone else. So it's good for them, it's good for you, it's good for the whole world, guys. Anyway, have an awesome weekend. The Bills got the Packers this weekend. We're going to beat them. Take care until we talk again on Monday. Take care.